So tariffs, electricity tariffs, a very important part of the current thinking of how our houses are working and to the most efficient. Whichever tariff you're going to be choosing, whichever tariff a homeowner chooses is on their best knowledge of what they think is going to be best for their property. Now, if you've got a heat pump, there are heat pump tariffs available. If you've got a car charger, and an EV tariff is probably the best one for you. There are different ones there. They do make sense how we use this. An electric car charging tariff can also be used with a battery, and that's an important one, and it's good to know. I referred to this, I said it in another video that we've done. It's really important to understand our battery setup, how much battery we have got, and how much we can actually charge and discharge from their battery, and how we can use that. Now, it's no good having a battery or an inverter in that matter, and only be able to discharge 2 kilowatts of electricity an hour, because it's not enough for most of the household uses. Forget about the heat pump or the car charger. That requires way more. But what we are looking at now is having the right inverter that can charge the battery at a certain time over a certain period of time at night time when it's actually cheap electricity available, and it can discharge it and satisfy the house's requirement. Because if it doesn't, what we end up with is we're going to have to buy electricity at the time when it's really expensive to buy electricity. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to use the cheap tariff rate, whether it's an economy 7, whether it's a heat pump tariff, and in that bracket of cheap electricity, we are trying to charge the heat pump. We're trying to charge the battery, run the heat pump, run the washing machine, charge the car, anything that we can think of, making sure that it's all safe and good to do so. And then in the times when we are not getting cheap rate, we want to make sure that the batteries being able to satisfy our demands and not having to buy expensive electricity. Obviously, we will dip into that and we will have some, but in the grand scheme of things, the amount of electricity that we're going to buy at that time when it's expensive isn't going to matter that much. But for that, the setup is key. And we installers, especially here at PBT, what we do is we want to make sure that the setup is correct. We're not aiming for the easiest installation. We're aiming for the best installation, knowing what your overall requirements are and will be in the foreseeable future. For example, if you haven't got a heat pump yet, but you're thinking about this, we would take that into account. If you haven't got an electric car and the charger, we would try and aim and advise you about that as well at the start of the installation process, the start of the planning process even, to make sure that we are installing the right battery, the right products, and they will be right for the future.